Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to show you, based on a few queries on my last video, what I would use, or what you can use in Maelstrom Arena as a Dragon Knight if you don't have basically all the shiny stuff. There are people that struggle with getting the Vicious Ophidian set, which is obviously optimal for sustain. There's people that can't craft or maybe get hold of the Twiceborn. And there's people that haven't even completed Maelstrom yet, and of course all the builds online tell you use Maelstrom weapons, which is pretty stupid because how do you get them in the first place? As a Dragon Knight you are going to struggle in terms of survivability, so I'm obviously going to touch some points there which will help. And obviously you want to pump out as much damage as possible while surviving as well. So one of the biggest problems I've seen people have inside the Maelstrom Arena when they're first starting out is sustain. They struggle with recovery, which obviously people with Vicious Ophidian don't because they have a reduction to cost, but you don't because you don't have it. You could farm and farm and farm and farm and get Vicious Ophidian eventually, but you want something to get you in there quick and get your practice started and have a go. Basically the sets I'm using are really easy to obtain. One of which is a crafted set, the other which can be farmed completely solo, so you don't have to struggle trying to get in trials. Perhaps you don't like going in trials, perhaps you don't get into them, or maybe you just don't have time. This will help a lot, and this takes full advantage of 3 of the DK's major dots and also one of their ultimates as well. The last video I showed recently, my DK build, which was quite complex and a bit long, touched on everything that you can do to optimize the class, but this is more for your first run or your first few runs or practicing or maybe just general use DK. If you don't have Twiceborn, Vicious Ophidian, Two-Fanged Snake, all those kind of things, this is then going to be for you. Let's start with what we've got. First of all, we'll look at the stats. Now these are going to be a little lower than usual because the weapons are not gold. For the purpose of the video I was looking for tempers, but someone fucked the market and they're too expensive, so that will come later. But you sit on 3.5k weapon damage with 68% crit. You don't have to use Vicious Ophidian because you can't get it. I mean, yeah, some people farm Vicious Ophidian over and over and over and they either get lucky or they don't, but this is something you can obtain on your own. If you can't get in a trial, or your friends aren't online right now and you can't get in one, or you just don't have the time to just sit there for weeks trying to farm one piece of fucking jewelry that you can't get it later. You can use this for now. The traits are really good, and this is how you get it. It's really easy. Go to shadowfen. Now, take into account you can get these off traders. They're tradable, so you can buy them. They're really cheap most of the time because people don't know how the hell to use this set, which I'll show you in a minute. But this group delve here, go in there, rotate the bosses, kill them over and over and over on your own, and you will get the pieces you need, regardless of traits. Try that out. Then also you have, I haven't done much here. Where's the dolmens gone? There's one. Dolmen there, dolmen there, dolmen there. Do not worry if your stats are too low and you struggle with dolmens, because these are farmed like hell all of the time for stupid stuff, except for what you're looking for. These drop the jewelry to Swamp Raider. So you can get 2 rings and a necklace pretty damn quick. And the weapons, there is a quest I believe, I don't recall which one, you may have to look that one up, but there's a quest which drops both, I think, both weapons. This is a unique one, I think that's from a boss, I don't recall which one. So if anyone does know, maybe you can put that in the description underneath for me, or a comment even. This also, I believe, is possibly from a quest, but they're generally on the traders for like 2-3k, they're really cheap. And if you pick one up for maybe as high as 20, it's worth it all day long. Oh sorry, I forgot the bow. The bow is just, it's a marksman bow, sharpened in gold with a crusher enchant, yes. But you can use a crafted one. Just craft one, stick a crusher enchant on it. If you craft it, you got a perfect trait. Don't even need to mess with it. It doesn't have to be part of any set. Okay, I'm talking a little too fast. One of the important things you need to know is, for Maelstrom, obviously survivability and sustain is really hard sometimes, especially when you're starting. So you need to make sure that you're using the Bloodspawn to start with. Change it out later if you get used to it. Vulcan Square or something like that. Use what you want. But this is a good starting point. Pop your potions all the time so that you get full recovery. You get 1k, which is reasonable. And you want to gold your weapons, not your armor, your weapons. You get another 400 weapon damage from both of them, I think, combined for just putting it, just for making it gold. Anyway, if you look at the set bonus, wrong button. If you look at the set bonus, if you deal damage with a magic ability, your poison and disease abilities gain additional damage. Let's check this out. Poison, poison, more poison, more poison. More poison on the proc. You see where we're going with this. We've got a lot of poison damage. So, we want to make sure that we use the magic ability to turn it on, aren't we? So, what would we have to do? Switch this out perhaps and put a magic ability on in order for us to get it to proc every 10 seconds? It does. It works, but that's not what we need to do. What we need to do, let me take that ability off first of all. Let's put this back to where it belongs, in the bin. Weapon glyphs, Maelstrom procs, non-Maelstrom procs, weapon glyphs in general, the game reads them as magic damage. Watch this. Rapid strikes, proc. Poison damage for 10 seconds, thank you very much. I don't know whether that's broken or whether that's the way the game reads it, but that is freaking awesome. All you have to do is do exactly what you do on an everyday basis with your Dragon Knight, and that's rapid strike, light attack, dot, rapid strike, light attack, dot, and everything you do, poison damage wise, is stronger by a lot. Now obviously, your Maelstrom proc is going to make your dot even stronger, so that's something for later, but that's when you get them. I mean, if you don't have Vicious or Fitting, you can actually use 5 Twice Spawn, 5 Swamp Raider and 2 Maelstrom, and you can actually get the Poison proc and the Maelstrom proc just by doing a Rapid Strikes. So that's something for later for you to try out. But you can see the damage is actually pretty good. Bloodspawn pops all the time, so I've got Resist and Ultimate. I'm not going to struggle to hit Dawnbreaker or Corrosive Armor if I need to. This, by the way, if most people should, or maybe they're not aware of it, you're immortal when you turn this on for 10 seconds and you do poison damage. And everything you hit has pretty much 0 resist, because you're just going straight through it. So you hit really, really hard with one. And if you Rapid Strike first, it does more poison damage. It's crazy. You got an 18k dot there, a nice AoE 12k dot there. You've got a decent one there as well with Immortal button. It's really, really strong. So for beginners, this is a really, really cheap way to get a shit ton of damage without much effort. You might have to farm the dungeon or delve or dolmens for a couple of hours perhaps, but it's a lot better than farming Vicious Ophidian for 3 weeks and not getting the pieces you want, because it can happen. And it's really easy to spot. Just turn it on by Rapid Strike. Get all your poison on. Like I said before, rotation wise, obviously on the Maelstrom weapons is what we call stabby stabby dot, stabby stabby dot. You don't have to do that, but I would encourage you to do so that when you do get the Maelstrom weapons, you're already fresh with that idea of doing DPS. But you don't have to, you can just proc it, poison dot, poison dot, poison dot, and then just Rapid Strikes into hell. It's entirely up to you. Good question. I'm explaining that right now. Let me talk to this dude. Actually, I'll just post it out. He's going to be really confused because no one uses this set. There you go. So yeah, in a nutshell, take some of this, never leave stuff behind. Although I missed a possible Kuto earlier. in a nutshell, your stats are good. I only have 20k health because I'm Imperial, although I do have a health enchant on my Bloodspawn helmet because that's what it came with, and it's nice to have that little buffer. If you want more health, you can change your attributes to give you more survivability. You will lose some stam, but it will keep you alive longer. If you want to enchant your gear with health instead of stamina to give you a little bit more health, that's absolutely fine as well. But if you can manage with this amount, you'll be 18k or so if you're not Imperial. If you can manage with that, then fine. This way will probably help you quite a lot because your recovery is good, your ultimate gain is good, so you can use it a lot more often. Your damage overall is really, really high, especially if you gold out the weapons, which I would definitely recommend for anybody going into Maelstrom. Gold your weapons, fuck the armor, don't worry about that, just gold your weapons. It's expensive, but it's worth it. I am a vampire, but that's not important to the build, although it does allow you to reduce the incoming damage when you're low health, which we also touched on in the last video. But just be warned, if you are a beginner, round 8 is going to really, really hurt, so I wouldn't recommend doing this just now. But if you like it, it's up to you. And you also get recovery bonus from that as well, which will complement your sustain. So it's not a bad thing to have it, just be very wary in round 8 because there's a lot of flame damage and it'll hurt. Most people don't use vampire for the simple reason that they don't want to get hit by flame damage. They go, oh, it takes more damage and all this shit. Yeah, it does, of course it does. That's what the part of being a vampire is. But if you look at most of the damage in the game, 9 times out of 10, if you get hit by fire, you're going to die anyway. So this will just raise your awareness to it and make you stay away from it more often. So you can actually become better in terms of your footwork and avoiding damage if you're a vampire, because there's no forgiveness. You just get wrecked straight away. Swamp Raider and agility. Actually, no. Let's see if we can get him to watch the channel. You're famous, dude. You got at least 3 people watching you. Okay. Like I said, this is the easy way to get the gear. Bloodspawn, very easy to get. Hundings Rage, easy to get hold of. Swamp Raider, I've explained where you get those, really easy to get. And obviously you can buy them as well, which is even easier. You could probably get the set if it's on sale or if you farm it within like 2-3 hours of even trying. So there's your Maelstrom setup for that, sustain, survivability, etc. I did run over the skills on my last video, but I will briefly go over them now just as a refresher. And it's, hold on, make sure we have this on. I use Ignis shields just for the minor brutality, the slight shield, and every time I pop this, I heal. My heals are larger, whether it be rapid strikes or blood craze or my actual vigor. So I have Ignis, heal. Always Ignis first. Ignis, heal. Or Ignis, and then rapid strikes the hell out of something for 6 seconds. Because the skill itself increases your heals by 25% for 6 seconds. Pop that on, do some damage. Generally, when you go up to a portal where there's an enemy spawning, always put that down first, because it will hit them before they spawn, and also a beast trap, which will increase your crit damage. This is probably good for a separate video. There's plenty of Maelstrom runs out there, which are much, much better to explain how to do everything, but this is just the setup I use. So, Venom Claw, Beast Trap, Evil Hunter, Bloodthirst, the one that heals you, it's the healing morph of Rapid Strike, Blood Craze, the healing morph of Render Slashes, Dawnbreaker as an oh shit button and a damage booster, Corrosive Armor as a massive oh shit button and shit tons of damage because you go through their physical resists, Folly as your main dot, which is Endless Hail. Poison Injection must be on everything because it gets stronger the less health they have. This is a very nice dot and also reduces their physical resists, which means you'll hit them harder. So make sure that's under them, make sure that's on them, make sure that debuffs them, and then Rapid Strikes and dot them as you go, but keep Beast Traps up as well. So, I'm not sure what he's after. We'll invite him anyway, it's fine. I'm not sure what else there is to touch on that. Champion points, I did put them in the previous video, but I'll quickly run over them. If you look at I'll put it in the description actually, the last DK build video. It's quite long, so you may have to skip through it to look for what you're after, but I do go over champion points, skills, reasons for them, etc, etc. There's loads and loads of stuff in there. It is quite in-depth and detailed, but hopefully it will help. Nothing in this tree. 75, 75, 27, that's really, really big resists, and any dot that you get hit by, which is one of these two, you resist it by a further 9.7%, which is quite nice. Quick recovery for the heal. I do use it for this passive in trials, but ignore that for now. Just gives yourself bigger heals for when your rapid strikes hit, or bloodthirst hits, and your vigor. 100 in warlord for reduction of cost. 20 in tenacity. Make sure you heavy attack if you run low on stamina, because you will get some back. And stamina recovery for that. Nothing in there. You can go some in tumbling if you really, really want to, but you really don't need to. But if you are struggling, then by all means take some out of one of the two here, but you may struggle with sustain. So I'd personally leave it. Leave that. This is really important. I did explain it in the last video, so I'm not going to go over this too much, but this has been messed with a lot to get it right, and this is boosting your dot damage, your physical and poison damage, your penetration and your crits, and it's a really, really good balance. I had to spend a stupid amount of gold changing 1 point at a time to make sure I optimize the crap out of it. So hopefully this will help you as well. Remember, what we do use in Maelstrom Arena is the same setup as my previous video with the igneous shield, not igneous weapons, because you're going to be using potions for that. The potions I suggest are these, because they have helped me the most getting across the arena and keeping up my sustain, and that is on the wrong freaking tab. Speed pots. Major expedition, making you faster for 47 seconds. Major brutality, so that's on all the time. Increases your stamina, or restores stamina, sorry, and then gives you recovery as well. Make sure you have medicinal use level 3 so that you can make full use of the duration, which is here. 30% longer potions, so they last longer than their cooldown. Just keep them up all the time. Okay, that's pretty much it for the build. Champion points are covered, gears covered, stats are pretty much covered, I believe. Just remember, we have the Thief Munder Stone. That's really important because that gives us all of our crit chance. And we're sitting on 3.5k weapon damage. That will push to almost 4 with gold weapons, and then it will push to about 4.3, 4.4 with the weapon glyph enchant. By the way, you want to make sure that's a gold enchant, not a purple one if you can help it. So gold weapons, enchant, buffs, you'll hit about 4.3, 4.4k weapon damage with really nice self-sustain, and you should be able to complete Maelstrom with that. If you get stuck, of course, as I already said, you can change your points around, give yourself some more health, that kind of stuff. No, it's not easy for first timers or for people that are practicing, but hopefully this will help, especially seeing as the gear is really, really easy to obtain. Proc sets and stuff, yeah, they're really powerful. Yeah, they kill stuff really, really quickly, but do you really want to cheat mechanics on your first runs or your practice runs where you're trying to farm the weapons? It's not going to help you. Do that later on when you get really good at it. The main DK build video that I created recently will be put in the description down below as well. In the next week or so, I should be putting up a few more build videos, unless people obviously want some more work on the DK, in which case I'll do some more of that. But there is due a sorcerer, a templar, another tank as well, so plenty more to come. Again, thank you very much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you're not already subscribing, please hit that button, it is free, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.